You know, that's just the way that Dallas is built right now. So if they can control the pace with Luka getting to the free throw line, attacking, that's when they nullify the Clippers. It's not going to be their defense, unfortunately. And the Clippers found their calling card, which was their defense.
You mentioned, Smitty, that it was their defense that predicated their offense. But we talk a lot about the 1-2 punch that is Kawhi Leonard and Paul George and what those two are capable of. Break down what worked so well in this one from those two.
Well, I think we start off with Paul George, how he's played. Both those guys have been terrific offensively. They've done a nice job, and we'll watch and see. Here's Paul George. He's been fantastic offensively, obviously taking a lot of criticism in the bubble, but use your size. Great job of being 6'9". Then you get a chance right here to watch him, and the ball movement by the Clippers, it got around the horn, it touched the paint, and then eventually Paul George been able to knock down that 3-ball, Ryan.
Biggest thing I see with the Clippers this time around is trust. Look at Kawhi Leonard. He's not playing against a set defense. He's getting out early. No one stops the basketball. That's a bucket, Mr. MVP. And then again, getting on the block. Here's a mismatch. See, Dallas doesn't load up. You got three guys ball watching on the weak side. Okay, Porzingis is pointing. Should have been there. Pow, on your head, Kawhi Leonard.
What then, if you're the Mavs, do you do differently defensively against those two as they found this rhythm?
When I look at this unit, I said defense isn't their calling card, but they've got to be smart defensively. You know, Smitty and Kristen, they have to be early. They got to communicate. Maybe you still have to score through 2 or 3 defenders, but you've got to force the Clippers to do something that they don't want to do. Last year, they were so excellent in the success they had against the Clippers in making them play one-on-one, making them a little uncomfortable. But right now, things are just too easy, and you got to get back in transition because the Clippers want easy baskets, and they got them tonight.
Well, we're going to talk a lot more about that, but first we want to hear what Luka Doncic has to say as he's sitting down at the podium now.
Pain at certain points, but how much did you really have to be fighting through, and how did that feel?
I don't think that matters right now. We lost by 20, and you know, injuries are part of the basketball, but I was 100%. But I played terrible, so we just got to move on to the next one.
Tim?
Tim McMahon, ESPN. Luka, you threw a cross-court pass like it really bothered you. Where is the pain, and are there certain things that makes it flare up that are, difficult to deal with?
I mean, the pain is like neck and then the nerve down. I don't really know how to explain that, but it felt way better today morning than yesterday. And I just keep doing massages, ice it down and be ready for Wednesday.
Okay, we'll move on to Spanish with Claudia.
Luka, buenas noches. ¿Qué desafiante fue la defensa de los Clippers y qué tienen que trabajar para evitar que Clippers tomen el control y la ventaja en esta serie?
Bueno, hay que olvidarse de ese partido, ver los vídeos como hemos jugado en los primeros dos y preparar y jugar duro.
Okay, last one will be Leonardo.
Luka, ¿qué tal? Buenas noches, se saluda Leonardo Torres desde Perú. Luka, vuelven a jugar el miércoles. Para ti, ¿qué tan importantes serán estos días de descanso y qué crees que deben de mejorar en defensa para frenar especialmente a Kawhi Leonard?
Sí, es importante descansar y bueno, tenemos que hablarlo, como he dicho, como hemos jugado los primeros dos partidos, como parar el Kawhi, lo que es muy difícil.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Tonight's shot chart is presented by Mountain Dew. As we take a look at the Mavs, who were just 5 of 30 from three-point land. Smitty, that's good for less than 17%.
Kristen, that's not going to get it done for the Dallas Mavericks. Also for me is a little concerning, and I've been talking about it all year. Luka has struggled at that free throw line, and I know his shoulder is hurting, but before the injury to his shoulder, he had struggled down the stretch shooting free throws, 0 of 5 for today, and 1 of 7 from the three-point line. So it's going to be a lot of Luka, and he might have to change his approach as well. As you see, putting a lot of pressure on him, a lot of long threes. If it's going, it's great, but if not, find another way for him. And I think for the Dallas Mavericks, your shot not going, and you're not a great defensive team, you're definitely going to struggle. You're going to have to find a way to play where you can have the ball go through the net, and also so that you at least set your defense, and they weren't able to do that tonight.
How great, Ryan, is the mental hurdle of losing both games now back-to-back in Dallas?
Oh, man, this is going to be tough. And I was in a situation with the Clippers where we went up 2-0 on the Grizzlies, and we felt good. I don't want to say we were celebrating, but we felt good and lost 4 straight from there. So there's a mental aspect where the Clippers have seemed to have gotten over that hurdle. Smitty, I've always felt like the best identity for this team, why we got so excited to call them contenders, was the defensive potential for the Clippers. And we're now starting to see that. I know this Mavericks team can score with the best of them, but, you know, you look down the line, Batum, Kawhi Leonard, Paul George can defend, Rondo getting in there and having his piece of the pie on the defensive end of the floor. So now you're starting to get excited because this is a team that can guard probably the best in the league.
And also, Ryan, look at it. You talked about defense, and give T. Lue a lot of credit. Adjustment-wise, no starting lineup for Patrick Beverley. Hasn't played a lot of minutes in the last 2. He's going with Reggie Jackson in a bigger lineup. And so far, so good. 2 wins, and I think T. Lue is going to have to stick with that.
And as you mentioned, Nick Batum was in the starting lineup, 10 points, 5 rebounds, 4 steals as well, and he's addressing the media.
There we go. Hey, Nico, congrats on the win.
Thank you.
First of all, just when did you find out you were starting tonight's game? I know you started the second half of Game 3, but when were you told you were officially starting tonight?
Right after Game 3 at the hotel. No, when we started that way in the second half, 2 days ago, when we back to the hotel, you say, okay, we're going to start that way on Sunday. So I knew it right away.
And just with Kristaps getting off to a good start for himself, how did you guys sort of deal with him and finally get off to a good first quarter start?
We knew like they're going to go through him. You know, we took him away last game, so we kind of knew they're going to go through him to get him in rhythm. So, but at least, I mean, like if they do that, the other guys won't get shot like early shot like they did the last couple of games. I think, you know, he got a good shot. He made some big shot, but Luka didn't get going the first 5 minutes like he did the first 3 games. Tim Hardaway didn't get going the first 5 minutes like he did the first 3 games as well. So, and we did good, no? And then we started missing shots, and we kept attacking, and PJ and Kawhi did a good job to attack them and get us going right away. And then the bench came in, and we did a good job for 48 minutes.
Thank you.
Thanks. We'll go next to Law.
Nick, early this season, you brought up a very interesting name as far as your role and what you thought you could accomplish on this team in Boris Diaw. I remember watching Boris Diaw starting at center for playoff teams, for championship teams. And I just want to know over the course of this season if you've gotten back in touch with Boris at all and if you've kind of watched how he played and how that might have impacted how you are doing playing more of a big man role for this particular team this year.
I talk to him a lot, of course, not with friends, but it's funny because like yesterday, that's why I called the video guys and I said I need footage of Boris and Draymond Green. I think they're the 2 best of the last 10 years. Draymond and Boris, they are the 2 best at doing what I have to do. Like those small center, we can be point forward, they can play 1 through 5. So that's what I did yesterday. I watched video of Boris with the Spurs in 2014 and Draymond the last 5 years. And I tried to inspire myself from those 2 guys.
Thanks. Next, we'll go to Ohm.
Hey, Nick. When you look back to maybe the flight to Dallas or even the practice after being down 0-2, what's changed? I mean, the momentum has completely shifted. If you can pinpoint, maybe you think one thing that kind of changed for you guys.
I mean, we knew our mistakes. We just had to adjust. We really knew what we've done wrong. Now we had a game plan. The first 2 games, we made a lot of mistakes. I think they scored like 51 points in half our mistakes, game 1, and 40-some in the second game. So we had to cut that, and we did it. After the first 8 minutes in game 3, we did that. And we did it tonight, try to cut our mistakes. They still got too many offensive rebounds, but they play with 2.75 Fuller though. So, but we did a good job, I think, on the rebound and contain Luka and Hardaway. But you know, we gotta move on. It's just 2-2. We were where we were supposed to be. We're supposed to be at 2-2, technically. So now you gotta go home and finally one team gotta take care of the home court, and we have to start on Wednesday, going to win this game if we want to be in good shape, because we can't put ourselves in a bad situation if we don't do the job on Wednesday.
And Nick, even when you guys were like down 30-11 in Game 3, what's Ty been like this entire time? Down 0-2, down 30-11. What's he been like for you guys?
No panic. I mean, we didn't panic, and we knew like we have a lot of people on the crowd, and even for us, I mean, that was pretty cool to have that, because it's been a while since we played with like almost 20,000 people in the stand. So that event for us, it was pretty cool to play in that environment. So, and we just regroup ourselves, and we had, at that point we literally had nothing to lose. Like, so we just get on composure and play defense and be tougher. We did it, and now we start the game that way, and we start the second half, because I think we have bad third quarter almost every time we start the last two games. So we had a good start of the third quarter to give it no momentum again. So that's what we have to do moving forward.
Thanks, Nick.
Thanks for your time.
When we come back, our post-game coverage continues with player press conferences, including Paul George, who dropped 20 and 9.
Hey, Coach, just want to know what you learned the most about your team in these two games.
Coming here to a hostile environment, down 0-2, and, the most thing I'm proud of is just, us keeping our poise, following the game plan, cleaning up some mistakes, making a couple adjustments. And like I said, from two disappointing losses on our home floor, I thought we really had the focus of coming in, taking it one game at a time and winning these two games. So I'm just very proud of the way our guys, focused and locked in and was able to execute, especially in the defensive end, the last 6 quarters.
Thank you. Next, we'll go to Andrew.
Hey, Ty, ever since you guys fell behind by 19, you've outscored them by about 50 points. I know this is a game of many adjustments, but are there a couple things you would point to the most you felt like you're happiest to have gone your way, the adjustments that have made that possible?
I think defensively, just, getting better strengths on the floor with Luka. I think having our low man awareness when guys are beat off the dribble, it's like Hardaway, making him drive it, Cleaver, making him put the ball on the floor. And I thought we really did a good job of that. We really locked into those two guys, and they're very important to their team, their three-point shooting and their spacing. So I was proud of our guys for really locking in, trying to get those guys off the line, making them play inside the three.
Nick just talked about how the team had no panic arriving here in Dallas down 2-0. What have you observed from your guys the last 4 days since you've been here?
Just poise and focus. I think staying poised, understand the task at hand. It's the first of 4 games. We still haven't done anything yet, but it was a good start for us going down 0-2 at home and coming out and be able to win 2 on their floor. So now the series is tied up. We're going back home. I'm going to try to take care of home court advantage on Wednesday. I don't even know what day it is, but and just keep it going from there. Just continue to keep building momentum.
Thank you. Next, we'll go to Law.
Ty, we discussed the specific game plan, mistakes, the things that you wanted to see fixed. And as Andrew alluded to, Maxey and Tim, they were held to 1 of 11 from the field. Obviously, only 81 points to a team you gave up so many points to earlier in the week. Were there any more game plan mistakes despite the great defense, or are you satisfied with a complete game from your defense tonight?
I'm satisfied with a complete game. I mean, throughout the course of the game, you're going to have some mistakes. We understand that, but it can't result in 40 points or, 37 points, things like that. But, you're going to have some mistakes because they're good players. They're going to run some good stuff. Rick does a great job of running stuff out of timeout, so put you in some compromising positions as well. So just clean up the mistakes. We can't give up, 35, 40 points on our mistakes. And we did that tonight. And then, like I said, our guys are flying around, really physical on the defensive end. I thought for the most part we tried to check and box out, even though they was, we were small a lot, so they got some offensive rebounds. But, overall, just proud of our effort and following the game plan as best as possible.
How did you react to the wrench that was thrown at you with Boban reemerging in this series?
He was effective. I think him and Big Zoo out there together battling a little bit. It's something that we definitely didn't see coming. But he gave him a little jolt. Offensively. The fans love him. He came in and played well. 5 for 9. 12 points and 6 rebounds. So, come next game, we got to be prepared for him and ready for him and his physicality and his height.
Thanks. Next up, we'll go to Ohm.
Ty, Kawhi's been relentless like the last 3 games. I'm wondering, you've obviously played alongside some of the all-time greats, and you've seen Kobe take his game up a notch in the postseason. What has Kawhi been like when he takes his game up a notch?
I mean, on both ends of the floor, I think rebounding the basketball, really attacking. I think through the course of the season he coasts, sometimes just, preparing and getting ready for this moment. But the pace and the speed he's playing with is what we need. And it's unbelievable. Like attacking the basket, quick moves, quick decisions. And that's what our whole team, like we talked about, getting into the paint, driving the basketball. But Kawhi's been phenomenal, rebounding the basketball, attacking, but also catching the ball, making quick decisions, attacking early. So, we want to continue to keep doing that. We still got some work to do, but I like the direction we're trending in.
Did he ever say anything to you just that you kind of knew, you're like, okay, we're good, Kawhi's got it, he's gonna handle this?
As far as what?
Like when you guys were down 0-2 or anything like that, did Kawhi ever say anything to you?
No, I just knew we had to, simplify some things. I knew we had to get better with our game plan mistakes, but I think, like I say, in game 2, I think we found our remedy, how we wanted to attack this team and the positions we want to put them in when we're on the offensive end as well. So starting small is a little different for us because we can't really run as many plays because Nico doesn't know the full 5 position. But the plays we were able to run, we did execute at a high level, especially in that first half. I thought second half we got a little stagnant, so we got to be better, playing through the game. We got stops and we slowed the ball down and kind of try to run clock instead of just keep playing through the game and keep attacking early. And if we don't have it, then back out and run something. So we'll learn from that as well.
Thanks. Next, we'll go to Miriam.
Hey, Ty, you talked a little bit about Pat and Zeus sort of being cool, accepting their roles, but what can you say about Nico sort of taking on a challenge like this? He said he studied film of Draymond and Boris Diaw the last day. Do you think that helped in just sort of his mindset in taking on this role?
I think his mindset is great. He's still turning out a few shots tonight that he can take if they're going to put 5s on him. So we got to be ready to throw the ball back when, Porzingis is in his drops or Boban's in the game or whoever's playing the 5 position. But, defensively, I thought he did a great job with Luka getting up the floor, trying to deny him the basketball, pressuring a little bit. He had a block or 2 just flying around. So, Nico starting today, allowed us to switch more and do more defensively. And that's why we was able to hold him to 81 points tonight.
This series is now tied at 2 games apiece. Let's hear from Coach Rick Carlisle.
As badly as it went, I saw a lot of positives in the game. So like I was trying to do the right things. We had a very poor shooting night and had some good looks. We've got to work at defending better. That's obvious. That's where it's at. It's pretty simple. It's really a matchup-based series. And I just feel like, we just got to work to get more traction defensively. That's really the main focus for us.
Brad?
Yeah, Rick, Brad Townsend, Dallas Morning News. How did Luka look physically out there to you? I mean, from us, from where we are, he was grimacing a lot and bent over sometimes.
Yeah, he's in pain. It appeared to me that he couldn't turn left, couldn't look to his left. He couldn't turn his neck to the left. And that's difficult for a guy that, relies on peripheral vision and, basically has played his whole life with his head on a swivel, So we got to hope in the next couple of days that he can get better, hopefully substantially better. There is a 2-day break between games, which is a positive in this case, and it's a positive for both teams if you got guys beat up and banged up, which I'm sure both teams do on some level. But his neck issue certainly contributed to a 9 for 24 night and him having some real unusual struggles.
Tim McMahon?
Tim McMahon, ESPN. Rick, what are the biggest concerns that you have about the way you match up or the way that they're attacking you when they're small and you guys are on the defensive end?
Yeah, look, they've got two great players that are just putting their head down and basically trying to go through us. We'll look at the film, see where we can do better. The first two games we won were very high-scoring games. We scored a lot. They scored, one game they scored 121, the other scored 103. I mean, those were high-scoring games. From a process standpoint, we've just got to stick with it offensively. I mean, we had a lot of looks that we liked. We just got to keep stepping into them, with force, and we got to work at the defense. Leonard's a great player. George's a great player. They got great shooting. It's a challenge.
Tim? Tim, you're muted.
Tim Cato, The Athletic. When you say you need to be better defensively, is it specifically just individual performances? Is there scheme issues that you already can pinpoint that need to be improved?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's all of the above. And, you look at, let me see here. Points in the paint, 44. That's a lot. We had 42. In the first game, there was a huge differential there, and we made some of that up, which is good. Second chance points, we made a little bit of hay there. But look, a lot of this is transition, okay? They had 17 transition points, and we had 4. And look, in a playoff series where transition points is really one of the few ways you can get easy baskets, when you go minus 13 in that area, you've really put yourself up against it. So defense is always going to start with the quality of shot that you get. And look, when you're missing and then not doing a good job of getting back, it amplifies, the challenges even more. So it's all connected. But we've got to remain steadfast on the things that got us, to a 2-2 situation in a series, and we just got to keep working at our defense, our defense and rebounding, and keep stepping into shots.
All right, thanks, Coach.
Kristaps Porzingis also just sat down. He had 8.
What do you guys have to do individually and collectively to create some more resistance as far as their paint scoring is concerned going forward here?
Good question. We gotta look at the film on the rotations, how we're doing that, and they're really good at kicking the ball out when we're doubling and just moving it around the perimeter, and then we run them off the 3-point line, and then they maybe drive, and there's a paint attack, and they're able to score in the paint. So we gotta look at how we can take some of those away, and. But overall, we know we can do a better job on both ends. Tonight was a below what we can do in terms of shooting, but it's okay. On to the next one.
Okay, we will move into Spanish. Eric.
Hola, ¿qué tal? Katie, Eric Mora de Telemundo Dallas. ¿Qué tanto le afectó al equipo mentalmente, psicológicamente, el saber que Luka Doncic no estaba al 100%? ¿Fue eso un factor realmente desde el principio del partido?
Yo creo que no. No debemos depender solo de si él está metiendo o no. Nosotros somos un equipo que sabemos que habrá días que no metemos, y tenemos que enfocarnos en defender y dejarlos en pocos puntos. Y lo hemos hablado después del partido también, que cuando el ataque nuestro no estamos tan enchufados como nos gustaría, por ejemplo como los primeros 2 partidos, tenemos que enfocarnos en la defensa y hacer un partido duro para ellos en ataque, con nuestra defensa y con nuestra mentalidad, incluso cuando el partido ofensivamente no va como queremos.
Daniel.
Daniel Mercado de Club Deportivo por Sydney, empezaron el juego usándote alrededor de la pintura, después se salieron de eso. ¿Qué pasó?
No, a ver, lo intentamos hacer todo el partido, conmigo en la pintura. Algunas jugadas, es todo un poco, ¿cómo se dice? Random. Es un poco, estamos intentando crear situaciones, no son jugadas específicas, sino son situaciones y cuando hay cambio, pues intento ganar la posición dentro para utilizarlo para meter o para sacar la pelota a mis compañeros para tiros abiertos. Y a lo mejor en la segunda parte no tuvimos tanta oportunidad para hacerlo, pero es en lo que estamos enfocados y intentar crear ventaja desde ahí.
Okay, thanks, Christoph.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, everybody. We'll talk to you all later. Thank you. See you tomorrow.
When we come back, our post-game coverage continues with Kawhi Leonard, who led the Clippers with 29 and 10 as they tied the series with the Mavs at 2 games apiece. And the LA Clippers, as Game 4 is underway in Dallas.
Ooh.
Here's the highlights.
Nice move. Oh, George working down in that paint.
Look at that alley-oop. Luka to Dorian. Then a 14-3 Clippers run on the other end, Ryan.
Clippers were excellent tonight, not just defending, but getting out in transition, getting easy and wide open looks as Reggie Jackson knocks down a 3 right there.
Paul George pulling up the elbow for the step-back jumper, and he and Kawhi, Smitty, found their rhythm tonight.
Yes, indeed. And as you can see, they're super excited. They got off to a great start, especially in this first half. And there's Kawhi calling the machine. Well, was he working? 11 for 15, but he also had 10 rebounds to go with 29 points.
Whew. Luka, unfortunately, playing with a sore neck in this one. He would get it looked at during the break. The Clippers would lead the way 61-45 at the half. And, well, it would just be more of those two on the other end in the second half, Ryan.
Absolutely. You know, there was no let up. You got to understand, they could have went down 3-1 tonight. So tying up the series was huge for the Clippers. And, boy, did they deliver.
I mean, look. Play after play.
Look at the aggressiveness of Kawhi Leonard. He always plays well, but I love how they got out in transition. I love how they got downhill, and defensively, they held the Mavericks to 81 points.
And Luka very clearly in pain there, but Kawhi would lead the way with a double-double, 29 points, 10 rebounds, 106-81 the final score, and our 3D, Dennis Scott, caught up with him.
Talk about your groove and how well you're playing.
We're playing great. You know, that's all I care about. I want the whole team to play great. You know, two players can't, win a championship or win a playoff series. So, I'm happy that we are playing well now, playing better defense.
And speaking of that defense, how big was it for Ty Lue to put Platoon in the starting lineup to get y'all's defense off to a fast start tonight?
It was big. It's the next man up mentality. You never know who series is going to be. And it's just like I said, we need everybody. We need the whole 5 that's out there and the rest of the 11 that's on the bench, and as well as the coaching staff and trainers.
And how do you bottle this up? This was a must-win game tonight. How do you take this effort back to Staples Center for Game 5?
Look at film, see what we did wrong. Just keep trying to improve. That's it. That's all we got to do. Keep being ourselves, keep playing hard, and trust one another.
Playoff Central Live continues with player press conferences as we wait for Paul George to take the podium as well. Stay with us. At this first round series, now tied at 2 games apiece between the Clippers and the Mavs. Game 5, they've got a couple of days off. It's not till Wednesday at 10 Eastern on TNT. So guys, let's talk a little bit big picture here as we wait for Paul George to address the media. I'll start with you, Smitty. What is it, or when was it, that everything changed for the Clippers?
Well, I think desperation. They got down 0-2. Great adjustment by T. Lue, but I also like there was no panic in the coach. Made the adjustment to go with Nicholas Batum in this game, but also obviously changed and not playing Patrick Beverley as much, and then also relied on his 2 best players. They have stepped up, and I think overall their defense can win games. And I think for them is they looked at it as we just can't go down 3-1. And what they did, they came out and made sure, especially in that third game when they were down big in that first quarter, fought back, won that game, won this one. Now it's a whole different series.
Yeah.
But I think right now it's a best of three, so this one is getting good.
And Ryan, they took a lot of criticism, a lot of jokes. I would have probably some from you, I would imagine, if I looked back on your tweets in the last several days.
I'm still Clipper faithful, man. I got love for the hometown. But in all reality, the biggest difference I see from this year, from last year, was no hero ball. You know, last year when things started to get tight, it was just the ball in Kawhi Leonard's hands, and he tried to make every play. Then it was Paul George's turn. But now you're seeing the ball movement. Obviously, the defense has played a major part in what they've been able to do. But the Clippers look like more of a team. They bought into what Ty Lue has to say, and I always believe that a little bit of Smitty, you know what, a little bit of humble pie pays dividends, and this looks like a team that's been locked in. And then you got to expect, Luka was so great in games 1 and 2. Can he have the same performance in game 3? And he couldn't.
Yeah, and I also look at a little subtle, addition. Playoff Rondo has been good for them. I mean, you would look at the stats and people might say the numbers are not great. No, it's the leadership. It's the way he came out in game 3. I just think he's going to pay big dividends. I know they're still missing Serge Ibaka to have a presence, but Zubac has played well. I think for them is some of the young guys, man off the bench, have played well. But this team goes the way their defense, and I like Nicholas Batum starting against this unit because you look at the 5 and the big guys for the Dallas Mavericks, they're not putting anybody on the block. So T. Lewis said, if you're not, you're going to play small ball. Even though Porzingis is 7-3, I still think the way T. Lewis playing and said, hey, we'll be able to switch everything, keep you in front of us, and make you shoot over the top.
I also want to get your thoughts on just the mental fortitude required to be a team that's down 0-2 in a series. You lose both at home. You know that criticism is coming, but you also know that there are championship expectations as well.
Absolutely. And I was coached by Ty Lue actually with the Clippers and in Boston. And there's no panic in Ty Lue. You know, he's been in locker rooms with the best of the best, from Michael Jordan to Kobe Bryant, LeBron James. He's in elite company. But after that Game 2 presser, they asked him, is it time to panic? Is there a lot of things are going to change? No, they need to keep being the best Clipper team that they could be. And the one thing I like is that it was simple tweaks, Smitty, because that team is so talented. Early buckets, fix up the defense, make Luka have a hard time. And they've been incredibly successful since.
They have, and also playing a little bit faster. I love how they're getting out, and Kawhi is pushing the pace and really attacking. I think it's always good when you're not playing against a set defense. And I look at the Dallas Mavericks. If you won, the Achilles heel for them is foot speed in that starting lineup, and they did a good job of taking advantage of their speed, getting up and down the court.
Well, we're going to take another quick break, but Playoff Central Live continues after this as we continue to wait for both Kawhi Leonard and Paul George to take the podium and address the media. Stay with us right here on NBA TV.